say about Rolf Harris?
Rolf Harris, Australia's loss, was also our loss. As you can tell, I've got no real affection for the man. He remained popular from the 1960s up until his arrest, possessing a universal appeal and being loved by everyone, from young children to old biddies. Harris was multi-talented, mainly known for his art and music, but let's face it, he's no Neil Buchanan. In his early career, he was a huge hit with audiences for being a natural in front of the cameras and exuding a warm charisma which stood out a mile from fake personalities like Huey Green and stuffy upper middle class bores. Rolf's Cartoon Club is fondly remembered by Gen Xers and millennials. Harris rightfully received acclaim for his knowledge of cartoons, but many children, myself included, thought, "Rolf, cut the waffle and get to the fucking clips already." Rolf successfully reinvented himself with mega hit Animal Hospital, moving away from his kids' TV presenter persona to taking on a paternal, affectionate, caring role. The show's success even spawned an imitator in the form of Channel 4's Pet Rescue, and to this day, people still confuse the two. After being commissioned to paint a portrait of the Queen, which he did with considerable aplomb and sincerity, his crude End of Clacton Pier sketches became a distant memory. He then revived his presenting career with a series of mature art programmes that were destined to become humdrum mid-afternoon viewing for people in dentist surgeries up and down the land. He had a knack for writing catchy tunes and was a multi-instrumentalist, notable for playing the didge, saws and the wobble board, which he claims to have invented. He gained considerable commercial success with what were largely novelty pop songs, which were never really funny. If anything, they were annoying, and they belong in the same circle of hell as Christmas in Blobbyland and There's No One Quite Like Grandma, but maybe that's being a bit mean. As pointed out in the documentary, Jake the Peg has also taken on sexual connotations given what we now know about him. Before that, the only criticisms were for his singing voice. He makes Kevin Bloody Wilson sound like Michael Hutchins.
Where's me fucking boy? I've unwrapped all this other junk and there's nothing that I like.
And of course, the racial epithets in Timey Kangaroo Downsport.
Let me abos go loose, Lou. Let me abos go loose. They're of no further use, Lou.
In the early 90s, he successfully revived his music career with Antipodean-inspired versions of Led Zepp's Stairway to Heaven and Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody. He played Glastonbury an impressive 5 times, and people still insist the lineups have gotten worse. Rolf Harris was arrested in 2013, and after his arrest, there was a media blackout. Speculation ran rampant about the identity of the household name, much like the recent Hugh Edwards furore. When the unveiling and court case were announced, it shocked the nation. This was a genuinely big name and much loved TV personality who had been part of many people's childhood viewing. In June 2014, he was convicted of 12 indecent assaults that took place from 1968 to 1986. 2 key pieces of evidence were a letter Rolf Harris wrote to the father of one of the victims asking for forgiveness, and allegations that he groped a 14-year-old in Cambridge. He denied ever visiting Cambridge, but evidence showed he took part in Star Games, which was filmed there, so he lied to a court. He received a 5-year, 9-month prison sentence, but was released in 2017. Since his conviction, public opinion shifted from a beloved, versatile and talented entertainer to a disgraced sex offender. The documentary claims he was unremorseful and even an attention-seeking psychopath who faked being the empathetic nice guy. The ITVX documentary, Hiding in Plain Sight, is stylistically very similar to many true crime documentaries circulating these days. It's not as glossy as those on Netflix. It features a mixture of interviews and archive footage, including some rare clips. The documentary is suitably biased, mainly documenting his crimes while painting Rolf as a sad, manipulative figure who preyed on young girls. I've only got minor criticisms of the documentary, other than impartiality. I could be wrong, but I don't think Rolf's trip to Duncroft School, as Jimmy Savile's guest was mentioned, which was a key event. There's also not much about what he did in his latter years, other than an ill-judged prison song.
Climb up out of the woodwork, babe. From 40 years ago, the climate's great in Britain now for making lots of dough. You've festered down there long enough. Time's right to grab your chance. Clap eyes on rich celebrity and make the bastard dance.
Overall, though, it's still a very good documentary and essential viewing for those curious about his dramatic fall from grace. However, general true crime fans might want to put it on the back burner.
And I looked at him, I said, what? And he said, well, just look at them, aren't they just fucking lovely? I'm driving a car, Rolf's looking out of the window, and he's thinking about fucking two 14-year-olds, two little girls.
As an update, there's been a few celebrities who have come out of the woodwork and said Rolf sexually assaulted them. One was Vanessa Feltz, who claims Rolf ran his hand up her skirt on the Big Breakfast bed. She might have a mouth like the Channel Tunnel, but you know what? I actually believe her. Another is Linda Nolan, who claimed Rolf groped her as a teenager. And you know what? I believe her as well. I think it's like a domino effect, where once people speak out, it triggers memories, and people think, maybe I'm not alone, and it gives them confidence and courage to speak out. I also have to highlight the sketch from Not the 9 O'Clock News, a seemingly quite vicious sketch made all the more chilling given Harris's conviction. Producer John Lloyd has said it makes his blood run cold. The idea behind the sketch was that Rolf, on Saturday, was such a terrible, boring programme. The only way to get an audience of children to sit in a studio and watch it was to kidnap them. This was before Rolf reached national treasure status, and he was considered a bit sad by anyone over the age of 15 in 1980. The implications of paedophilia are just coincidental. Bear in mind, there were no rumours of Rolf being a wrong-un at that stage. Compare and contrast with the Spitting Image sketch, where Jimmy Savile is portrayed as being a sad man who is crazy and puts out boring television, but obviously missing the fact he turned out to be the UK's biggest sexual offender. It's a case of missing the hidden and focusing on the obvious.
And welcome to Animal Hospital. Now, I'm afraid for your old mate Rolfie, it's not good news. Yeah, that's right. I'm just too nice. The BBC think it's high time they brought in someone a little bit more edgy.